Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. Well, today we're reviewing a reintroduced cigar to the cigar world. This is the OneOff Piramides. Now, this cigar came in a 4-pack sampler, which I got from Small Batch Cigar, and it had one of 4 different sizes. And I only got one of the samplers because, quite simply, they're quite expensive. $63, $62.80 actually, for this 4-pack sampler. And how many of those can you buy to try out a new cigar? Now, I say new. This cigar was actually introduced in 2001 and was created at that time by Andrea Molinari. He was a tobacconist who ran a La Casa del Habana in Milan, Italy, and after failing to get his own brand made in Cuba, he turned to the Plasencia family, who would create the cigars at Segovia Cigars S.A. A year later, Molinari turned to Felipe Gregorio to handle the U.S. distribution. And on and on and on. Finally, Plasencia stopped making the cigars, and the brand was sold to Cuban crafters. This brand was quite attractive to the Illusione folks, who now own the brand, because this brand was grandfathered in by the FDA regulations as they currently are. Any cigar that was on the market or produced prior to a set date in the past was called grandfathered in. Anything made since then, and there are tons of them, are subject to all sorts of hoops to jump through, quite expensive. And it hasn't gone through yet, but if the final rule goes through, it goes into effect, tons of cigar companies will just simply go belly up or possibly be sold to bigger fish. Most of them will just go belly up. They can't afford to pay the prices the FDA is going to demand. So anyway, this is one of those that was easy to come back or revamp because it existed before that predicate date, as they say it is. I'm not sure what the predicate date is. It's whatever it is. It's whatever it is. All right. So now this is now owned by the Illusione folks, and it's handcrafted in the Aganorsa Leaf Tobacco Factory in Esteli, and it's being released in 10-count boxes in 8 sizes. Wow, I'll list them all on the blog. Just look at them there. But I have had the Giulietta previously to this. That was one of them in the sampler, a 7x47. This is 6 1/8 by 52. The Giulietta started out really good, and it kind of tailed off. Now, I have that in the back of my mind as far as what that one did, because I'm not opposed to reviewing the other sizes that I got in the sampler, and they were, let's see, I got a Robusto, Corona, Giulietta, and a Piramides, and this is the Piramides, of course. So we'll see how that goes, but that is a possibility. Not saying I will, not saying I won't. Let's see how this one stacks out. So there's your density, by the way. Nice looking cigar, pretty much straight brown, almost a golden color to it, and very well made. And I chose this one today simply because I like a torpedo type cigar. Okay, so let's get right to it. The new, back on the market, OneOff by Illusione. If you can't cut this cap, then you need to get out of the cigar game. One thing hopefully you'll notice, hopefully it looks better, is the quality of the video. I'm dealing with a different recorder today, one that I've used in the past. It hasn't been available. It is, so I'm taking advantage of it. Hopefully it looks better to you. All right, here we go. Let's just take off just that little cap tip there, the little mountain part of it. Drop it in your lap is what you need to do. There's what I took off. See that little thing? Match that up to there and you got it. All right. Fantastic draw. Fantastic. Well, your first flavors are a very nice pink grapefruit with brown sugar. Think about that. And a lot of cinnamon. There's also a very earthy coffee and a lot of black pepper. Black pepper is at the outset very close to an 8. It's a lot of black pepper. It's I don't know if it'll hold that, but it's very high at this point. And I can already detect a decent amount of nutmeg. So, you know, one thing I forgot to even mention, being made at the Agonor Salif Tobacco Valley de Jalapa S.A. Tabsa factory in Esteli, Nicaragua, we can assume that it's Nicaraguan, and it has a lot of Nicaraguan-esque qualities to it right now. So that's how it's starting. Let's see how it develops. Okay, I am 2 inches in. Whoop, there we go. 2 inches in, so we're at the end of the first third. Still got the same flavors I described previously. The nutmeg notes are coming out a little more. If you go glacially slow with this thing, as I try to do, and when I'm reviewing one, the sweetness is quite tangy. The citrus notes are quite tangy. There's a lot of sweetness from brown sugar and a lot of tingliness from cinnamon. I even get what appears to be a thickness of a white chocolate type flavor, but it's not like overblown. You will get that if you go very slow, though. It's that type of a thick sweetness. It's medium bodied at best. The finish is sort of a combination of cream and nutmeg with a modest amount of lingering black pepper. It's a pretty good start. Now, it doesn't appear to have a lot of power to it yet, but it is very tasty. I'm a sucker for sweet Nicaraguan type flavors, and this one has it. The first third, I'm rating a 92. I am not sure we're going to hold a 92, but it's good to this point. It's 92-esque. It's very 92-ish. Also, if you are a fan of Illusione cigars, this has very much the flavor characteristic of Illusione cigars. So there are a lot of rabid Illusione fans out there. I think you will like this cigar. So at this point, we're at a 92. Let's see if it can hold it. Well, we are finished with the second third. Burning pretty evenly, as you can see. The thing that surprises me most is the burn time, where we at about 114 here, 115 now. So we're going to get close to an hour and a half out of this torpedo-shaped cigar, Piramides. Okay, your nutmeg notes are much more elevated now. Earthy coffee is much more elevated. And I find this with a lot of Illusione cigars is they get a little heavy on the nutmeg. The sweet notes are still there, but the nutmeg and the earthy black coffee are really elevated, so they seem almost equal. It's hard to say who's leading who. Maybe medium to full bodied now. And the finish is dead unchanged, not a bit changed. With the elevated nutmeg notes, which by the mere fact they are elevated, it does take away some of the sweetness because it was really high before. I loved it. I'm dropping a 2/3 score to 90 just because it took away some of that sweetness, or it has so much nutmeg now. Final third is going to tell the story of the final score. Well, we are down to the end, so let's wrap it up. Got a nice burn time out of the cigar, hour 45 minutes. And I would hope you would, because if you average out the cost I paid for this 4-pack sampler, you're around or over $15 a stick. So you better get a pretty good burn time out of it, and you did. Now, unfortunately, the cigar traveled on the same trajectory as it did previously, and the nutmeg notes just got more and more. The sweetness went away from a citrus, got more of a cedar. You got more lingering pepper on the finish. The sweetness was just overwhelmed by the nutmeg and the coffee. Medium to full body. Started out great. Transitioned in the 2/3 point to about 50-50 balance, and here at the end it's more like a 65-35. 65 being the nutmeg and coffee. The Illusione fans will like this cigar. Nothing I can say is going to change their mind. I'm telling you what I got flavor-wise, and that's what happened. It started here and went here. The final third, I'm rating at an 87. Averaging it out, you get 89.666. We'll round it up to a 90. I've thought about going to a straight point system where you rate it at what it averages out to, but maybe that's thinking too much. But I'm going to score this overall score a 90. It is a good cigar as it starts out, and even to the 2/3 point, it was good enough. But when it tailed off here at the end, it just wasn't my cup of tea. $90 seems about right. So there you have it, the new OneOff from Illusione, the Piramides, $90.